Welcome back to Wake Up Washington. So the last hour on Wake Up Washington, we told you about a new urban farm in Prince George's County and the nonprofit Feeding 5,000 Incorporated that started in Capitol Heights. So the area is considered part of a food desert, if you weren't aware, where it's really hard to access fresh, affordable food like some other surrounding communities. Well, that's been a problem for several people inside the Beltway, and now we're going to talk to Kevin Alsop, the founder of Feeding 5,000, and we're going to talk a little bit more about just the mission you all have going on and how you're bringing fresh food like these fried green tomatoes we're going to try shortly to the doorstep. So before we talk about that farm, something happened last year. The community lost its Safeway. Talk about the effects on, some of the elderly in the community. How are people getting their food? How did this affect people?
Well, that's a good question. The Safeway just closed suddenly, which was a surprise to me because when you walked into it, it looked like they were improving it aesthetically. And you see lines and people in there, then all of a sudden it just closed. And so there's really, the only markets is like 1.9 miles away. The other one is 4 miles away. So if you don't have a vehicle, you can't access, fresh vegetables and any other things that you might get from the supermarket. So, I mean, that affects the community. And so now, the community is littered with fast food restaurants and stuff like that. So your choice is, I can't get fresh food. I got to eat fast food, without naming it.
How far do most people have to drive to the closest grocery store out there?
1.9 miles is the closest one.
But before it was a lot closer to Safeway.
Yeah, probably less than, it depends where you're at, half a mile, if that. You could walk to it, it was walking accessible.
Now, early this week, I had a chance to visit the farm. It's off Emmett Street, and you tell me it's the first of 12 growing zones. And Feeding 5,000, you guys have a pretty ambitious mission. It's a great one. You want to feed 5,000 families at least a year in the community. Talk about that mission and how you plan to do that.
Well, right now we're in the phase 1 of the project. Our project is to build that 7,000 square feet, is to maximize the space. We want to maximize it vertically. We're going to build more beds. We're going to at least add another 300 to 400 feet of growing beds alone so we can produce more and more crops. Volunteers, just hard work, effort, but it's just not about us feeding 5,000. Now, you look at 5,000 families, we talk about 5,000 families, that's really a family of 4.
Right.
So in essence, you're talking about like 20,000 plus people,
right.
But it's a doable number. And 5,000 is more symbolic because we want to feed 5 million if possible.
I know that's right. Something I love so much is, and that's so important for folks, if you don't own land or you don't have a house, a backyard, it doesn't matter, right?
You
can grow food on your porch, your patio. Talk about that and the grow bags that we actually saw in the last hour. Talk about that.
Well, I live in a townhome, so there's no land whatsoever. So I utilize my deck, and we use these grow bags, which are easily to drain. Put soil potting mix in it, and you just grow. You can grow vegetables. I grew tomatoes, peppers. Now, my first year growing, I don't know if I had enough of vegetables to make 3 salads, but it's persistence and consistency, and it's a passion. But so that's what we want to do, Feeding 5,000. We go into the community and we bring these resources because you might need 6 or 7 bags of soil, and for us to think that you're able to do that with your own funds is us jumping the gun. So we want to go in, we want to equip the people, we want to teach the people.
And not only that, that's going to lead to job creation. So we have about 30 seconds left, and I want to try these fried green tomatoes. And for people who have questions or they want to volunteer, get involved, tell people how they can get in contact with you if they want to.
You can contact us at alsopgrowers.com, which is the website. It's ALSOP growers, that's one word, .com. You click on the Feeding 5,000 tab, maneuver throughout and we have a place where you could donate.
Delicious.
Thank you. Yeah.
We're going to get that information up on the website so that anyone who would like to get in contact certainly can. Fried green tomatoes, you guys should try this. Try this at home. It's great. Thank you so much for joining us, Kevin.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.